Hi everybody, my name is Terri Sproul and I want to welcome you to my studio. Tonight is our live Tuesday night show, so if you're watching this at a later date, join me on Tuesday nights, every Tuesday night at either 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to continue doing the art journals as we've been doing, but please remember that all of these techniques that I teach you in the art journal can be transferred over to scrapbook pages, can be transferred into canvases, cards, just about anything that you can think. These techniques can be transferred over to. So I want to welcome everybody. There's lots and lots of people in the room. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I do have my big computer back. Yay! But I'm still having, I didn't get everything loaded yet, so I don't have the ability to zoom in or zoom out yet. But I got the camera pretty close, so I think you guys will be happy. Right below me, that's my blog. So stop by tomorrow and you can get all of the links to the projects. For the products that I'm using for tonight. But I do have Joe here, and he's going to do his best to also catch and put links up. So let me, and also if you have a question, put them in caps. So do you want to say hi, Joe, real quick?
Hi, Joe, real quick.
Okay. Bye, Joe, real quick. Okay. So, thank you very much.
Don't laugh. You have to focus. This is critically important. I can never get you to focus. You're like a hummingbird on caffeine.
Well, of course I am. Of course I am.
I know you're focused. Oh, bright, shiny thing over there. Oh, what's that? Look over here. Mm-hmm.
I like shiny things. What can I say? Okay, let me switch cameras, and we will get going. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, this is something that we have not done so far, and I was actually kind of shocked. I have not used any distressed inks or any inks to make our background. We've always used paints and all kinds of other mediums, but let's just use inks tonight. I'm going to use distressed inks tonight, but honestly, this technique can pretty much be done with any type of ink. The reason that I am specifically using distressed inks tonight is because most of you have distressed inks. So we're going to do that. Now, I pulled out a few colors for myself to use tonight. And you're going to notice a little, kind of a theme here. They're kind of all in the pinks and the purples. How do you watch at a later date? What you do is you go to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Terri Sproul, and all of my classes and other videos are there. Hope that answered your question, Susan. Okay, anyways, back to my distressed inks. I have basically pinks and kind of purples here on my desk, and that's what I'm going to work with. Whenever you work with paints and or inks, you want to stay kind of in the same family or close to each other on the same family. So going back to the color wheel, colors right next to each other will work really well. You don't want to do colors that are across from each other because all colors across from each other will muddy turn brown. We don't want brown. So you want to just kind of stay with colors next to each other or colors in the same family using from light to dark. Okay? So that's why I have the particular ones that I have out on my desk. Now, the other thing you need to do and remember is always start with your lightest color and work to your darkest. Okay? So I'm going to start with the lightest pink here, which is called Spun Sugar. And this is one of the little ones. Now, you can use, Tim's, distressing tool that he has to put his inks on. But honestly, a makeup sponge works just as well. And because inks don't dry on your makeup sponge and leave them hard, I keep one makeup sponge for every single color that I have, or sometimes I have two on. See the blue and the green? So I can keep two on there. And that way you're not wasting it, wasting your makeup sponges. You can pick up makeup sponges also at the 99-cent store, just for an FYI, but like I said, I just keep them with the colors and just keep using them over and over and over. So I'm just getting this really light real light pink into the background here. And I'm getting 90% of it covered, but not all of it, and that's okay, because we're going to put a lot more color on top of this. So it doesn't look like we have any questions so far, but while I'm doing this part, because this is kind of boring to watch, I will tell you also, you can join my group on Facebook called All Things Terri Sproul, and there is where you can enter to win prizes also. Okay, the next pink that's a little is worn lipstick. That's the next one I'm going to use here. That one. And again, I have my own makeup sponge for that. And I'm going to just start blending this into the background, just like I did with the lighter pink. And I'm just adding layers and layers upon layers. This is going to give me lots and lots of depth. If you're worried about like getting a square piece here, if you kind of look where my makeup sponge is, I'm not really putting my ink down here on the end. And you can even roll that up if that scares you. You can take it and just roll it up like that with your fingers. And then when you pick up the ink again, you're kind of getting it more of a circle, and you're not going to get any squares or little rough edges on your paper when you do that. So that's a really good tip also. And I do usually work in circular motions. Oh, you're not feeling well, Vicki? I can relate, to be honest. I'm having a kind of one of those days myself. Okay, next color I'm going to go for is Pickled Raspberry. So see where we are right now? See already the depth that we're getting on that page? And we're going to just keep going with even more depth in there. See, this is where it'll really start showing up and getting a lot of depth in their page. And I am putting color on top of color. Don't worry about that. Don't stress. It'll all work out and be really pretty. Look at that blending right there. See that? Almost has a marbly look. Okay, almost done with this color. We're going to go for our fourth color, and then actually, believe it or not, I go back in and do I go back through the colors again. You'll see that. Okay, fourth color coming in. This is my darkest color. This is going to be the most intense. So see how already we've got a lot of depth? Isn't that awesome? So again, I'm putting this last color. Oh, this is, sorry about that. This is Stormy Skies. This is actually kind of a blue, but it's still in that range where I can, you know, use it really well. I might be a little more sparing with this one because it is a little much darker. See that? Isn't that depth awesome? Okay. Now at this point I actually go back in with the, usually not the lightest because that lightest pink was really light, but I will go back all the way back to the second color I used. When you use the makeup sponge, have you watched not press too hard with my thumb to leave marks on my pages? Oh, that's a good tip. Dean Martin was saying, Dana Martin.
I was going to say Dean Martin. Oh
you
my
know what?
God! Oh, Blue Eyes. You're thinking cocktails in Vegas.
No, she actually used to be D Martin. D, just the initial D. But I finally know her name now because she's part of my group now. But see now how I've come on with this color and I'm getting even more depth, and it's not necessarily taking away from what I've done already. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Can you use some distress inks and some cheap? Can you use some distress and cheap ink on the same page? Yes, you can use both other inks with the distressed inks. Basically, honestly, between me and you, and Tim's going to hate me for this, basically distressed inks are nothing but really color. They do have some interesting things that are cool about them. They do blend better than other inks do, but they truly are just a color. So I think I'm going to go in one more time with this really bright pink, and then I think I'm done with my background. But see how I'm getting layers upon layers, and I'm not really muddying because I have the same colors going out throughout the whole page. Oh, I really like how this is turning out. This is pretty. This is very dreamy. And what I'll do in the next couple weeks is I will prove that to you guys. I will pull out other inks and play with them and show you how they work just as well as distressed inks do. I like that background. I think I'm going to stop right there. Isn't that pretty? See the depth in there? I was watching my videos the other day, and I need to remember to, when I do that zoom in, to make sure I give you guys a little longer to see, so I'm trying to be better about that. Okay, I'm going to use some stamps from Sin City Stamps. This is a brand new one I got. It's kind of, I don't know if it's a snowflake or it's a flower, but they have a bunch of them all in the, on one palette of stamps that are all these kind of shapes. So I'm going to continue using the same colors that I've already been using in my background. So it's a good practice, again, using the same colors so that everything will stay unified. So I won't muddy anything. Everything will keep cohesive. But both inks need to be water-based. Yes, you need to have, actually, you can use pigment inks and dye inks together. And these are, Tim's are dye inks, technically. That's what he calls them, even though they are water-based. So stamp that in the background. And then I also want to use, this is also from Sin City Stamps. It's a swirl. Trying to remember to stop and slow down. Again, using the same palette I've been using. Keeps everything unified. Okay, I like that. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. You can also come in with, don't know what I just threw on the floor, but some stencils. I just got this one, so I'm going to use it. And your distressed inks, and put the ink through the stencil. So here's a really cool one that I just got, and I am going to use a contrasting color, which would be green, because right across from red is green. And I'm going to put these bubbles in there. Look at that, isn't that awesome?
Now, didn't Dean Martin sing Tiny Bubbles? Who sang that song? Tiny Bubbles in the water.
Wasn't that,
You're older than me, so you'd probably know.
I am not older than you. I am younger than you, dude.
You are not older than me?
No. I'm only 48. You're
Oh, honey, I
50.
would never have guessed it. Oh,
You're
Lord.
50. I'm only 48. You're old.
Oh, you've had a rough life, honey. Mm-mm-mm.
Don't bite me. God, just see the way he speaks to his wife, people? God, some people. Who does Steam? Wasn't it the guy from Hawaii? God, what is his name? That did Tiny Bubbles. I can't think of it right now. Off that same plate as this flower, or this snowflake, is this snowflake. I don't know if they're flowers or they're snowflakes. I'm just going to kind of use them because they're kind of cool.
Don Ho. Don Ho.
That's it. That's it.
I can name that tune in 5 notes. Do you remember that show?
I do remember that show.
What was your favorite game show?
Oh, it had to be the Newlywed Game.
Oh, God, some of them on YouTube where they ask certain questions.
That show is hilarious. I mean, hilarious. I love that show. They still have it on the what do they call that channel? The game show channel?
Oh, yeah. And Family Feud, there's some YouTube videos of people answering bad, a 3-letter animal, and they're like, elephant. It's like, hello?
Did you see the one on Family Feud where they said, there was 2 guys standing up at the podium, and they were asking, you know how they have to bid to go first or second? This guy was asking about which of the 7 dwarfs is your wife in bed, and the 2 guys would not answer it. It was hilarious. I just said happy.
I was going to say, wasn't there a smiley or happy or?
Yeah, happy. That would have worked. I mean, the rest of them wouldn't. But can you imagine?
Was there ecstatic?
No, there wasn't ecstatic. Maybe in the rated R version, but.
Oh, I have to tell you, rated R version, we play a game called Cards Against Humanity. Oh, mercy. That is a fun game.
Oh, we'll have to play that next time I'm out. This is a really cool stencil. Look at that one. This one I got from a friend this last weekend. I love that. There's some really cool stuff on there. But look how this background's turning out. Isn't that awesome? Okay, I'm liking this. Okay, now to put some stuff on top. I got these cute fairy stamps. I just got from Sin City Stamps. Kind of want to use her. And I really like this dragon one. Come check this out, Mr. Joe Morgan. Isn't that a pretty fairy?
I'm not showing him because... Wait, Joe Morgan?
Joe Morgan, yes. I'm not showing you, Joe. Mr. Morgan.
Oh, no, I was just responding to when you said, isn't that... Never mind.
Pretty good. No, God, you're bad. You made me lose my train of thought. Also, they have over there, if Joe Morgan's still listening, they just came out with a brand new line of owl stamps, too, by the way, Sin City Stamps, that are really cute, a whole plate of them. Now, I am going to be a guest designer. You guys got to stop by my blog on Thursday. I am a guest designer for Dreamweaver. Stencils. They came out with some die cuts now. I used them a couple weeks ago. This is another one that I got, and this one. So I'm going to use them tonight too. But, you know, die cuts in general, they can be really plain when they're just like this. So I always go in and ink, and this is a kind of a olive, it's called olive pastel, and it's a chalk ink. And I just go right around the edges. I just literally just go click, click, click right around the edges like that. Make sure I'm in camera there. And it really makes a difference on the leaf. It'll just make it a whole lot better than it was just plain. So try doing that with your leaves. Now I did most of mine up before you guys got here so that you wouldn't be bored watching that. But I just real quickly go click, 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 click right around. Okay. I like how this background turned out. It's really pretty.
Now, Terry, I think it's fair to share that before class tonight you weren't feeling exceptionally crafty. But isn't it cool how once you start the process, all your cares just push away, and now you're feeling crafty?
that's the best part about crafting. Is exactly that. I wasn't feeling like I was ready to do this page, and look how pretty it is. I love how that works. I have some of these. I think I'm going to use some of these if I can find my scissors. There they are. I knew they were on my desk. These are some old 7 Gypsy rub-ons. So go look at your old stash of scrapbook supplies. Like, I started off as a scrapbooker. I have to admit that I'm really not a scrapbooker anymore. I'm not saying I never scrapbook, but I rarely scrapbook. I'm more of a mixed media artist now. So I have a ton of supplies because I was a hoarder, or I am a hoarder when it comes to scrapbook supplies or art supplies in general. So go look at your stuff and see what you have and pull it out. I do normally cut out my rub-ons when I do this. And that just makes sure, that way I know that I'm not going to have any problems with it. Okay, so I'm going to use a rub-on right there. I had my Prima class this weekend. It was a lot of fun. The warehouse is really nice. You guys, if you get a chance, you should go up there. I'm going to get this rub-on over here. Oh, that rub-on's crap, I guess. Only a little bit came off, but that's okay. I think I'm going to go in and put these leaves in. Oh, forgot this one. I got his really cute dragon. I really want to use him somewhere. I stamped these prior to class on deli paper. Who made those stencils you were using while discussing TV shows? The stencils are, the die cuts we were talking about, these right here, are from Dreamweavers. Dreamweaver stencils. They're brand new die cuts they just came out with this year. And again, I will have all of the links on my blog tomorrow, which is terrisproul.blogspot.com. Since she doesn't have legs, I'm going to have her tucking out from underneath there as my plan. She's going to be in the forest kind of there. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Oh, you could paint some happy trees in honor of Bob Ross.
Bob Ross. Bob Ross died?
No, but just in honor of him. Do you remember his PBS Happy Trees?
Yes.
Trees.
Oh God, you scared me there. I'm like, he wasn't that old.
Okay. Wonder if he still has the same hair. Now I have to go Google him.
Last time I seen him, all of his I think he does, because all of his you know, his classes or his kits and stuff all has that same hairdo on there. I'm just grabbing some gel medium to glue down my leaves. Remember, I always go over top of my gel medium, or over top of my stickers or whatever I'm sticking down with gel medium. That way you won't have any problems. Please give blog link again. The blog is terrisproul.blogspot.com.
And I posted it in the comments, Terry.
Thank you.
Bob Ross is 72 years old, and he has no gray hair in his head, just on his beard and mustache.
Has to be fake. Wow, I didn't know he was that old already. I guess he's been around forever. You know? I mean, can you remember him as a kid? I can.
Well, again, I thought you were before my time, so I have to reevaluate now.
Yes, I'm much younger than you. Much, much younger than you. I inked her with, I stamped her on jelly paper because it's translucent, like I talked to you guys about last week. And I colored her in with, sorry, trying to get this piece of here, Faber-Castell's Pitt pens. Isn't she pretty? You're not a hoarder, Vicki? I don't believe that. What medium? I use gel medium. Matte. So I would, actually, you know, it's funny. I just learned this, honestly, today, that if you're doing collage work, you should actually use gloss medium and not matte. Now I'm going to go back to that in a second. Because my die cut's going to hit my binding in my book, I'm actually going to fold it. See that? And then glue it down. That way it'll lay much better for me if I actually fold it first.
Terry, there's a question, is the Bubble Stencils Dreamweaver? I believe it is, but...
You know, I don't think so. It's actually this company called Kites.
Really?
It's a generic. Somebody happened to give me it this weekend, and I thought it was a kind of a cool, but I've never heard of the company. She probably, knowing this girl, she probably got it at like an expo or something. You know how you go to those expos and you get all the
you know, I think Julie Balzer, though, has a similar design available through the Crafters Workshop.
I bet she does too, I would think. Crafters Workshop has a lot of designs, so you should be able to find something close to that if you really like that design.
R.J. Perry said Bob Ross is buried in Central Florida. I didn't think he was dead.
I didn't know he was dead either. Wow. Wow. I did not know that.
He died July 4th, 1995. Well, I missed that.
Yeah, ditto. I missed that piece of information too. I'm just putting some gel medium on the back of my little dragon over here so I can glue him down. My little dragon, he's so cute. Now, I bet you all remember the Puff the Magic Dragon song. I love that song. No comment, Mr. Joseph.
I think you should sing.
Oh, sweetie, trust me, you don't want me singing. You know, this is kind of sad. I went through playing instruments my whole junior high and all of my high school years, and no one told me that I was what's that called? Tone deaf. Nobody told me that. I wish somebody had told me that. Now I know.
We have a question, does Mod Podge work as well as Golden Matte Medium? I could give you a whole talk on Mod Podge versus other glues. Go ahead, Terry, tell them.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I don't use Mod Podge, but I'm not a huge fan of Mod Podge. It's just not as good as product as you're going to get from you know, gel medium. Golden products are like beyond amazing. Also, if you want another really good glue, another one would be from US Art Quest, and it's called PPA, Perfect Paper Adhesive. That's another really good adhesive. I'm not a big Mod Podge fan. If I I'd go someplace else before I'd go Mod Podge.
And they're very different chemically. Mod Podge is PVA, polyvinyl acetate based glue. It will eventually yellow, and it will always reactivate in humidity or if it gets wet. So sometimes it can get sticky again just from humidity. Something like golden medium or PPA is not PVA, polyvinyl acetate based. So in the case, I can't speak of golden, but PPA, perfect paper adhesive from USR Crest, dries 100% clear, it'll never yellow, it's archival, it'll never reactivate, it'll never be sticky. So Mod Podge, it's going to yellow, and it's going to get sticky if you've got some humidity going on.
Yeah. So really, you two read the computer screen. Your scribbles are not at all. Oh, Kit's stencils are by Junikins. I did not know that. No.
And for folks about the comment, remember there's probably a 4 to 10 second delay in what you're seeing in the Google window in the comments compared to where we are, Terry and I, live. So a lot of when we see a comment, it's probably from 4 to 10 seconds ago.
Yes.
I try to keep up with the comments in there and post, but even then there's a little bit of a delay.
Yes, I agree. And it's all how quickly it refreshes for me also over there. So I agree. I do have with that. I agree with that. Okay, I'm getting really close to where I like this. I did just stamp a quote, and the quote is from Versus Rubber Stamps. And it says, "It's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years." And that's actually a Abraham Lincoln quote. He is actually my favorite president, so I'm glad I got to use him. I'm going to take some distressed, oh no, I don't want green. Oh no. I'm going to take some distressed vintage photo. And again, this much makeup sponge right here, this thing's probably 10 years old. I'm still using it. Because it doesn't necessarily dry out. And I'm just going to go real lightly around the edges because I don't want it too distressy because I really like the colorfulness I have of the page. But I just want a little bit. So I'm going real lightly on my edge, mainly on my corners, to get a little bit of a, like it's been there for a while. I also, I'm taking a class right now, so this is why I'm learning a couple things. Other thing I learned today is, say you used a gloss medium, matte medium, in gloss, that you could go over it later on with matte medium and it'll turn it matte. So if you don't want that gloss look, you should use that. Because she did teach me that I should be using gloss when I do collage when I have a lot of layers. Tonight we didn't have a lot of layers, so I didn't worry about that.
And Terry, why was that? Because I've always been taught the first layer has to match the finish of the substrate. So gloss on glass, ceramic, gloss on gloss, matte on matte, and you can always switch at the very end because they're all acrylic and they'll stick to one another. Why did she feel glossy always for collage? Did she say? Because
it won't, if you put matte over gloss over matte over gloss, you're going to get more of it's not going to be as clear. That's what she was saying. It's clear. Gloss is clearer than matte.
Huh.
So that's why she said that.
Oh, we'll have to experiment and try that.
An interesting, yeah. Now I just, I'm taking, it's actually Chris Kozin from, she's a golden teacher. It was her class that I downloaded off of the Northern Lights Books, I believe it is, .com. So, okay, I think my page turned out really good. Let me zoom it around there for you to look at different parts of it. So I got lots of depth in there. None of the color is muddied because I have lots of, look at how cool those bubbles are. Look how cool he is. Now see how I did the edges of those leaves so they don't look so flat. There's my girl coming out of the leaves. Isn't that just awesome? Oh, down here. Okay, so that's my whole page. Like the way that turned out. Do we have any questions? I'm going to switch back cameras. Oh, and give a prize. Sorry about that. Wasn't thinking.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winner time, yes. Winner is Dana Martin, my Dean Martin. So please email me on, catch me on Facebook and give me your address. How you enter to win a prize. I've had some questions about this. You join my group, All Things Terri Sproul, on Facebook. Every single post that you put up from Tuesday to Tuesday is entered in to win. So if you put 4 posts up, you get 4 entries. But the next week, those entries are gone. It starts all over. The pages need to be inspired by my pages. Does not have to look exactly like mine. You can do a canvas, you can do a card, you can do a scrapbook. Just something that is inspired by what I taught you tonight. And also all of the other past classes that are on youtube.com/Terri Sproul. You can go there and see all of the old classes, and you can put your pages on there. So there's seriously over a year's worth of classes on just art journals. So yes, yeah, you won. So call me. What type of papers are what type of paper the image is on the right? The paper that I use to put my images on is deli paper. It's just kind of a thin paper. I actually don't have it with me in here. So the image is glossy. If the image is glossy, use glossy gel. Yes. Also, I wanted you guys. I'm going to go back to the other camera real quick because I want to show you something. I want you guys for next week to look through some magazines and pull some magazines. We're going to make a stencil again. When you're looking for your magazine images to make a stencil, you want ones that have lots of openings like this one. This would be a good one. This one right here would be a good one. See how that's real open and you could see, you could catch the whole image? She would be a good one. Let me show you a bad one. This one would probably be a bad one. You probably would not get a really good stencil off this because the purse and the hands in the back probably wouldn't make a very good stencil. So when you're looking for your images, look for things that have lots of openings around them so you'll understand and see the image well. You wouldn't want anything that's real straight or arms crossed like that. That would be bad. This would be a bad image to use. This one would probably be a bad image to use because if you think about it, you're only going to see the silhouette. It's not going to, you wouldn't understand what it is. So look for something that's sort of like this one. Okay? Also, real quickly, I get a lot of asked what kind of book I use. The journal I use is called Cottonwood Arts Journal. I get it at Dick Blick's. It lays flat, as you see. The pages are really thick. They don't bleed through. I have no problems with bleed through or anything in my book, so hopefully that'll work for you. Questions, you get back to me if I miss them tonight over on Facebook.
And Susan asked, how do you stamp on deli paper? And I said, just like you would on any paper. Paper's paper.
Yeah, actually, I could grab my deli paper if you want me to. Hold on.
You know, at our grocery store, they have bins of donuts and bagels, and underneath them they have a little box of those papers. You just grab one and then use it to grab your donut or bagel. There it is.
So there it is. And then I'll just show you right here. I use probably like today when I stamp once, I always stamp multiple times. So this is my stamps on to the deli paper, and I just used Indian ink, but you don't have to use anything special. I used Indian ink because if I go back over it with the gel medium, it won't run. So I just stamp a bunch of images on here and I cut them out. And now I'll use these for later. I have never heard of. Yes, Cynthia's comment, that's a very good one. If you guys get a chance, read that. She it's definitely, you know, that she is correct on what she's saying.
But you know, I've never had that with PPA, so that could be unique to Golden.
Yeah.
They're different formulas. I've never had that problem with PPA.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I really like PPA, to be honest. I'm a Golden fan, and I'm a PPA fan. So those are my two favorites. And PPA you get over at usartquest.com. Okay? Nobody else has any questions or comments? I'm going to say good night and thank you very much, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.